Hi, and welcome to Vinyasa Flow. I hope you're doing well, and let's get going. We're going to start in a child's pose today. So let's bring our knees wide, feet together, and sending our hips back in space, walking our hands forward, extending through our spine and dropping our forehead to the mat. If this is too intense for your hips or your knees, just rock those hips forward, bring the knees slightly in and come into a puppy, dropping the chest. This is just a little less intense for those kind of lower limbs. But if child's pose is okay, resting down the glutes to the heels, dropping down and reaching those hands forward. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Feeling that lengthening through your spine, sitting back through your hips. Thanking yourself for coming to class today. Taking a moment to set an intention for class today. Whether that's trying something new or giving yourself a little space to go a little slower. On your next inhale, let's walk our hands to the left. Right hand reaches a little farther than the left. We're stretching through our latissimus dorsi. Down through this postural muscle, feeling stretching almost from the armpit to the hip. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, walk your hands across to the other side. Left hand goes a little higher than the right as we reach through this left side of our body, stretching into the postural muscles on this left side. Dropping that chest through towards this right thigh. Inhale and exhale. Walking our hands back to the center and fluidly rolling up to a tabletop. Wrists are underneath shoulders, knees are underneath hips. And let's keep our back nice and flat here first as we stretch out the wrists. So just make small circles with our shoulders around the wrists, sending our hips back and forward. Pushing some weight into our fingers, getting used to that sensation of our fingers gripping into the mat. That will help us in downward facing dog. Maybe switching directions of the circles now. Inhaling and exhaling. Starting to kind of feel how our body and our mind are kind of feeling today. Getting a little bit more familiar. Inhale and exhale, coming back to this neutral, wrists underneath shoulders and knees underneath hips. We're going to go into a downward dog. So let's move our fingers about 6 inches in front of our shoulders. It might be a little different to you depending on your biomechanics and dimensions of your skeleton. So just kind of playing around with that. Gripping into the mat so much that it feels like your knuckles are off the mat. That weight should be into the inner triad of your fingers. So the thumb, the pointer finger, and middle finger. We're going to curl the toes under. You can keep your knees bent for this first downward dog just to get used to it. Inhaling. Exhale, press back into a downward dog, send the hips high. Chest is pulling toward the thighs and we're pressing away into our hands so we're not letting our chest drop. Wrapping through the triceps so it feels like your armpits are facing each other. And you can slowly start to walk into those legs, walking downward dog. Inhale. And exhale, ribs pull down, belly button to spine. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Looking in between your legs, feet are hip distance apart. Excellent job, everybody. Good. And if you can't touch your heels to the ground, that's absolutely okay. Just doing your best here. Sending those hips into the sky. And holding, coming to a kind of a static downward dog. Pressing into your hands. If you're very mobile, try not to drop your chest too low, keeping it in line with your arms. Inhale and exhale, gathering those pieces of information about your body as we move into different poses today through this vinyasa flow. Inhale, tiptoe up to your hands, forward fold. If you need to rise up a little bit because your hamstrings don't have this length to have your hands down, just put them on your shins or on your thighs. But we're gonna be here, we're stretching into the hamstring specifically, so we wanna lengthen through our spine. A lot of us are tempted to round into the spine, but that just moves a little bit more length into the spinal muscles. It's not a bad thing, it's just we want to focus on those hamstrings. You'll probably feel it a little bit through the calves as well. Inhale and exhale. Feeling the legs lengthen out. Dropping that chin to your shin, so not forehead, chin, keeping that spine nice and long. On your next inhale, we're going to go into half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana, going onto your fingertips if your hands are on the mat, or just onto your thighs, keeping the spine nice and straight, relaxing those shoulders back and down. Belly button to spine, exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, one vertebrae at a time, rolling up to standing. It's like you're stacking them on top of each other, rounding up, rolling up. Tadasana, mountain pose. Really good. So we're going to first start through Surya Namaskar A. We're going to start in this Tadasana, but we want to make sure we really set ourselves here. So, rooting down through the feet. If I came and tried to push you over, I wouldn't be able to. Palms are forward, shoulders back and down. Breathing. In Sanskrit, this pose can also mean the king's emotion. So trying to feel that here, or the queen's. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to bring our arms up, reaching toward the sky, bringing those shoulders down, even though our fingertips are pulling energy up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, reaching out as far as we can, lengthening through the spine, reaching through the crown of the head. Slight bend into the knee as we come into a forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold, lifting the chest, shoulders back and down, pulling that chest forward. Remember, your hands can also be on your thighs. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stepping back to a high plank. If high plank is a lot for you today, you can just drop your knees down, just as long as your hips are slightly forward of the knees. Inhale, looking forward, the shoulders move slightly over the wrists. Elbows stay in and we drop the chest at the same time as the hips. Chaturanga. Hands are underneath our shoulders, untuck your toes. Back and down with the shoulders, we rise up. Belly button pulls through, cobra or baby cobra. Inhale. And exhale, drop the chest, curl the toes, downward facing dog. Stepping your feet slightly in if you need to, resetting yourself. Inhale. And exhale, we look toward our hands and tiptoe up to our hands, forward fold, Uttanasana. Dropping the chest toward the thighs. Inhale, half forward fold, shoulders back and down. Belly button pulls through, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rolling up to standing, Tadasana. Good. So that was your first Surya Namaskar A. We're going to go over that a couple more times. If it gets too quick, just make it as you can. Inhale, fingertips toward the sky, reaching up with the fingers down with the shoulders. Exhale, pulling forward. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half forward fold. We reach the chest forward. Flat back, exhale, forward fold. Feeling that nice stretch through the hamstrings. Stepping back to a high plank. Looking forward, chest moves a little bit forward over the wrists. Elbows in, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Really good. Breathing, adding some breath here. We're not trying to hold it even though we're going a little quicker.